Hey guys, Moldran here and I'm still alive. Many people often asking me to price check certain items for them, or I get questions in general, how do I price items, so I decided to make a video about it. And now when it comes down to pricing items, you have to differ between low to medium value items, let's say 1 to 30 million gold or 20 million gold, and also between high value items, which I would say, for example, 50 million gold plus open end basically, because the pricing methods for those different items are pretty different, and there are certain methods that work well with one, for example, with high value items that don't work with low value items, and the other way around. So today I'm gonna start with the low and medium pricing of items, and in the near future, in the next days, I'm gonna make the other video about the high value items. So the best thing to explain pricing is to go into practice. For example, here I selected my Demon Hunter because he still has some gear that's worth not that much, but it's still worth selling, because depending on the budget, it's really worth to sell even, let's say, pieces that are worth 500k, 1 million. That's something that many people forget, but yeah. So, because it adds up, but yeah. First piece I'm gonna price are my shoulders. Now, the general way to price items is to right click them and search for similar items. Now, this doesn't mean that right away, okay, wow, only one gear, 75 million bid, I need to sell this for 70 million or 60 million. Now, because of the different combination of stats, for example, here the factor is all resist is 80, which is max, and doesn't happen often. If you reduce that, you get a lot more items listed, and then you get closer down to the real value. Because many people put up items overpriced. They want to sell it for too much because they don't know how to price it correctly, but it's actually worth less. So if you want to sell your items, make sure that you always price them correctly. And now there are certain tips that you could do. For example, here, first you want to remove stats that you don't need. For example, int, you don't need that. Arcane resist, on the other hand, on the dex item, that's something you want to keep on, because monks pay additional for arcane resist. But what you want to do is you want to lower the stats to levels what people are looking for actually. For example, here you could go to 100 or 120. Let's start with 120. All resist, of course, you want to go down to 60 or 70. Let's go down to 70, and arcane resist, let's say 40. And now I can see there are more items now here. The cheapest one is for 3 million gold and doesn't sell, so right now I would put it up for less than this, let's say 2 million or something. What you could also do is to increase the chances to sell it even further, is, for example, to go down to 100, because many people are gonna look for 100 dex, 100 vitality. And if you do that, you see it's still the same. So I still agree with the price 2 to 2.5 million. What you could also do is, for example, remove the arcane resist, and then you can see, okay, it's getting worth a lot less. So that's not something I want to remove. I want to keep the 40 arcane resist on and sell it for arcane resist monks. But what you could do is, for example, lower the all resist to 60, and yeah, then you can see this is probably an item that's underpriced, so could think about buying this and reselling it for around 500k if you need the profit. Generally speaking, you can also see this here, which is pretty similar to mine, but is worth it 1 million. So this means with 70 all resist, I would probably go down in price even more and sell this or my shoulders for 1.5 to 2 million gold. Now let's take another item, the amulet. Again, if you search for items, it doesn't really mean much because we have strength here. But yeah, crit chance you generally want to keep. Same with all resist at 60. But dex you want to go down to 250, because that's what people are looking for. Then you can see a price for 2 million. Might still be too high. If you go down 50 all resist, you can see then the chances to sell it increase, but also what we get for it decrease. But then also you can see here, for example, 8.5 crit, 256 dex, 54 all resist. Like they got a lot of crit, they got more crit than we have. So if you go down here as well, 500k, 600k. Like not many people are looking for items like this that are, I would call it entry level gear or average gear. But yeah. So those items that I just want to make sure to sell them quickly. Again, this is an example for an underpriced item. 20,000 gold for 200 dex, 6.5 crit and 70 all resist. Let's look for this, 6.5 crit and 70 all resist. You can see here there's a big gap to the next one. But then again, this is 200k and didn't sell all the time. So it's really that those items really don't sell that well anymore. For example, now for an amulet to sell, it really needs to have 2 out of 3 of crit chance, crit damage, or attack speed. But yeah, so this amulet, I don't know, maybe around this one, 200k, I would say is my amulet, which has more dex, but less all resist and less crit. Okay, what else can we take? Some items are too bad. I think we can take the gloves, because they are trifecta, poison resist. Okay. Again, here the same thing. First, remove stats that you don't need. Still no items found. That's a good start. And then you can go down. 200 dex is what people look for. 6 attack speed is okay. Crit chance, we want to look for 6. And crit damage for 30. Poison resist, we also go down to 30. Okay, and now you see, ooh, those gloves are worth much. Is it really so, or is it just because we are lucky, because we are a bit too high here? Let's for example go down to 5 attack speed, 5 crit, 25 crit damage. And you can see it's still up here, but I don't think my gloves are worth that much. So what I could do, for example, or consider doing, is remove the poison resist. And now I can see it's gonna go down from, also those don't have bits, except this one. This one actually is a bit, so those gloves are worth really much. It's almost a high price item, but yeah, without poison resist you can see it's 17 million, but with poison resist, and poison resist monks definitely go for such items, it's going up to, is it similar to this one? Yeah, it has a bit lower attack speed and crit chance, but this one is at 100 million gold. So you could consider my gloves, we can compare it with those. Those are now pretty similar. But those don't have a bid for 42 million, so I would say for 50 million buyout or something, we could sell these gloves. But yeah, actually the person that bid on those made a mistake, because there's not much difference between those, and he could have got this for 42 million bid at least. So I don't understand the bid, but it could be a result because he didn't wait. For example, this was on the auction house longer, so he probably did the bid before this one was up. Yeah. And last item I'm going to show you are the boots. Here we have dex, vitality, or resist movement speed. Another trick here is, for example, if vitality is so low that you just don't enter any value. And yeah, then we can go all resist 70 again. Movement speed you can actually leave at 12, because 12 movement speed is a bonus compared to 10 movement speed. People often look for 12 movement speed simply because they want max movement speed boots. Here you can see 2.5 million, seems to be a fair price. Those are equally good. Actually, those are a bit better. Like with arcane resistant armor, those are pretty cheap for what they are. Other items like this, the others two, they are more like our boots. What we could also do here is go down all resist to 60 or movement speed to 10, but that shouldn't change much. It goes down 500k, but yeah. If we change the all resist to 60, that could have a bigger effect on the price. Well, yeah, not in this case. So you could consider, I would sell it for 2 million or something. And yeah, just to summarize again, when you price your items, okay, another thing that's important first, when it comes down to low value or medium value items, and also to leveling gear, for example, you always want to put the buyout price. You don't want to put them bid only, because people who purchase such gear, for example, for the alt, or for example for leveling a new character, whatever, they want the item right now. They don't want to bid on items and then wait and get it in one day, and maybe even get outbid and then have to wait another day for the next item. They want to buy it out right away. So make sure when it comes down to those items, you always put a buyout price. It also means for you, you sell it quicker and you free up that one slot in your auction tab. And as you're limited to 10, if you only have one account, you always want to maximize those 10 slots. But yeah, to summarize it again, when you look for items, first thing is remove stats that don't directly contribute to the value of the item. For example, in this case, it's strength. If that would have 200 strength and 50 dex, it would be dex that I would eliminate. And also poison resist, because poison resist is only worth with dex. Okay, so eliminate the stats, in this case strength. Second, round down values. 200 dex, 5 attack speed, 6 crit chance, 30 damage, and then press search. Another thing where I can demonstrate this is, for example, this. Here you can see, for example, if you go down to 60 all resist and 30 arcane resist, Those are the other price ones that I discovered before, but here you can see, let's exclude this one and see it starts at 3 million gold. If you go down here to 100, you can see it goes down to 1 million gold. And people are searching a lot more for 100 than they are searching for 128, so that's also something you could consider when pricing the items. Yeah, remove stats that you don't need, round down the other stats, don't put them up as buy only, and yeah, another thing that helps you is to look against the max stats of items. You want to know, for example, okay, what's the maximum dex of shoulders, what's the maximum strength. So there's the list on this website here, D3RMP, that really helps you to find out the max stats for items. It changed a few times already. For example, they increased the strength and so on 200 weapons. But yeah, generally speaking, you should be aware of what is a good item, what is a medium value item, and what is a high value item. Because as I said, the pricing also is different for high value items, and that's something I'm gonna cover in one of my next videos. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Maybe there were 1 or 2 useful tips for you. This is pretty basic. The high value pricing is gonna be a lot more advanced. But yeah, just wanted to make sure that you understand the basics of pricing and make a lot of gold even with your low and medium value items. See you guys, I'll be back.